Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, Strategy Inc. SCP filing a definitive additional materials, and this feels like a company reminding everyone about what is coming up. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. It looks like Strategy Inc. is preemptively addressing some shareholder questions with a tweet reply and some extra details before their big 2026 annual meeting. So Strategy Inc., they make software and applications, and they've got a whole bunch of preferred stock out there, including something called a variable rate series, a perpetual stretch preferred stock. When a company has multiple classes of stock, especially perpetual preferred stock, it means they've got a complex capital structure. Perpetual just means it does not have a maturity date. So the company can keep paying dividends on it forever, in theory, and variable rate means the dividend payment can change, usually tied to some kind of interest rate benchmark. This can be good for investors if rates go up, but it also means the company's costs can rise unexpectedly. The big reason they filed this is to remind shareholders that they've already filed their main proxy statement for the 2026 annual meeting of shareholders. They want to make sure everyone knows where to find all the important documents. They've actually chosen to send out a notice about where to find these materials online instead of mailing paper copies to everyone. This is pretty common now to save on costs and be more environmentally friendly. The record date for this meeting is the 17th of April 2026, which is when you need to be a shareholder to vote. They're pushing people to the Sexies website, which is a good practice. You can find all their filings there absolutely free, but if you want a printed copy of the proxy materials and their annual report, you can request that. You can email their investor relations department or go to a specific website for it. No proxy cards are being sent out with this specific communication. So you can only vote by using the proper proxy card that will be sent out separately or that you can access through the online materials. Now, when companies solicit proxies, the folks who are closely involved with the company, like directors and top executives, are considered participants. The filing details that Strategy Inc. and its key people are considered participants in this proxy solicitation. They're also directing us to information about the compensation of their top executives and directors, as well as who owns their stock. This information is typically found in the proxy statement itself, under sections like executive officer compensation, director compensation, and security ownership of certain beneficial owners and management. This is where you'd look to see how much money the top brass is making and if they have significant ownership in the company, which can tell you a lot about their alignment with shareholders. Like most companies, Strategy Inc. is including a forward-looking statements section. This is standard boilerplate, but it is important to understand. They're basically saying that any statements about future expectations, plans, or prospects are just that, predictions. They're not guarantees. Things like potential changes to their preferred stock dividend rates are mentioned here as examples of these future-oriented statements. They're warning us that actual results could be very different from these predictions because of various risks. They point to their annual report on Form 10-K filed back on the 19th of February 2026, where they lay out these risks in detail under the Risk Factors section. And they're making it clear they do not plan to update these statements if things change, unless the law requires them to. Now, looking at the context around Strategy Inc., they are in the technology software application space. They have about 1,500 employees. Recent news includes discussions about their series of perpetual preferred stock, which we just touched upon, and some trading ideas related to it. Interestingly, there was a report in April 2026 about Strategy Inc. selling $2.5 billion in securities and buying a significant amount of Bitcoin. This is a huge move and suggests a bold strategy, potentially diversifying their assets and embracing cryptocurrency. It also raises questions about how this aligns with their core software business and the associated risks and volatility of Bitcoin. Their financial situation isn't super detailed in this particular filing, as it is focused on the meeting and shareholder communication. But the mention of selling $2.5 billion in securities implies they're looking for significant capital, either for expansion, acquisitions, or perhaps to offset expenses related to Bitcoin. The fact that they're pushing out these extra materials, even just a tweet reply and a summary of where to find information, signals they might be anticipating some shareholder questions or perhaps even some opposition to proposals at the upcoming meeting. Companies don't usually take extra steps like this unless they feel it is necessary to manage shareholder sentiment or ensure they have the votes they need. The complexity of their preferred stock and the move into Bitcoin are likely areas that could generate discussion. My biggest concern, based on the context and the nature of this filing, is how the company is balancing its core software business with potentially speculative ventures like its significant Bitcoin holdings. Selling $2.5 billion in securities to fund this could also lead to dilution for common shareholders if not managed carefully. What I am actually looking for is the detailed financial breakdown in their upcoming reports to see the impact of these strategic decisions. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives.